What's up guys and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm gonna take a look at 3 different esports Tiger mousepads. And those are the LongTeng SE, the LingYun and the Neon pad. The pronunciation is not gonna be on point with these, but hopefully you don't mind. The build quality and the features are somewhat the same in all of these, so I'm gonna use one pad to cover all of these. And of course after that we are gonna go through the surfaces one by one. Let's start. All of these pads are delivered rolled up in a box, but they lay flat pretty much from the get-go and there is no strong smell of rubber or anything. The artwork on all of these pads is really nice. It's very sharp and the colors look vibrant. But I myself am not a fan of artwork like this on my mousepads. For sizing, the LongTeng and the LingYun are only available in one size, and that is 480mm x 400mm. The Neon pad then again is available in 3 sizes. The large version is the same as the LingYun and the LongTeng, and then there is small and extra large. The LongTeng and the LingYun cost $35 and same for the Neon pad in large size. The small one is $25 and the extra large one is $50. All of the pads are 4mm thick, but there is some difference in softness. The Neon pad is actually very soft, it's sort of similar to the Artisan Zero Soft. The LingYun is not as soft, but it's softer than a GSR SE for example. The LongTeng SE then again has the hardest feeling foam. It's sort of similar to a Zowie GSR SE or an Aqua Control Plus. It gives in only a little, but it's still comfortable to use. The stitching is quite well done, but there was some fraying right out of the box. But nothing that was caused by wear in the 3 to 4 weeks that I used these pads. The stitching does not bother the skin in my hand at all in horizontal or vertical movement. All in all, I would say that Esports Tiger has done a great job with the stitching, but I do kind of expect it at $35. By the way guys, if you enjoy my content, hit that subscribe button. All of these pads are coated and the surface is what they call micro-coated surface technology. The coating is somewhat water resistant, but it does absorb some moisture. This should still mean that these pads are fairly consistent with sweaty hands and humidity. And this seems to be true here. I had basically no massive issues when my hands were sweaty. But when you play longer sessions with sweaty hands, your pads will not feel completely consistent. The base of the pad is low density foamed natural rubber. The base is specified to be the same on all of these pads, but with my units there is some differences. The LingYun and the LongTeng SE don't really move on my desk when I'm gaming, but I can move them if I want to. But the base on the Neon pad is pretty much garbage. I can easily move it and it does also move around when I game. Not all the time, but it's very irritating when it happens in game. Again, the base is specified to be the same and it definitely looks the same, so it might be just an issue with my unit on the Neon pad. If you happen to have the Neon pad, hit me up in the comment section and tell me how the base is on your unit. Moving on to surfaces, and here are the biggest differences between these pads. Ordering these pads from rough to smooth, the LongTeng SE is the roughest, the LingYun is in the middle, and the Neon pad is the smooth pad here. The LongTeng SE feels the roughest when you move your hand on the mouse pads. It's not by any means a lot rougher than the LingYun, but these are both a lot rougher than the Neon pad of course. The Neon pad is silky smooth and it feels very comfortable. Even though the LingYun and the LongTeng SE are rough, they are not abrasive to me at all. I myself did not have any kind of irritation on my wrist, my hand or my palm. Depending on your mouse feet, you might actually feel some difference in horizontal and vertical movements on the LongTeng SE. I tried 4 mice and with the HuoYun walls that does not have the best stock feet, I can feel the X and Y difference. For the LingYun and the Neon pad, none of the mice I tried had any kind of vertical or horizontal difference. Static friction is something that I find quite important in mousepads, and I prefer low static friction. And it's quite low on the LongTeng SE and the LingYun. The difference between those two is small, but the Neon pad has the most amount of static friction. But I would say it's quite a low amount considering how much of a control pad it actually is. Because for dynamic frictional speed, the Neon pad is the slowest and it of course then has the most dynamic friction. And it also of course has the most amount of stopping power out of these pads. The LingYun and the LongTeng SE are again very similar regarding dynamic friction or speed and the stopping power. The roughness of the surface makes it so that there is a good amount of stopping power and a good amount of speed. The LingYun feels a little bit smoother, but it has more friction, so it feels a little bit slower as well. The biggest difference between these two pads is the softness. You can easily feel it in game if your hand touches the mousepad. In my opinion, this makes the LingYun a little bit more comfortable than the LongTeng SE. But so how did I actually perform with these pads? Well, I actually enjoyed gaming with all of them. I used these on and off for about 2 weeks and daily for about 2 weeks. And in that time frame, I did not have any kind of wear in any of these pads. The pads felt very consistent and I played very well in CSGO. It was fun to use a control pad like the Neon after a long time. And the LongTeng SE and the LingYun felt quite familiar. The LongTeng SE actually feels almost the same as the Odin Infinity Hybrid. And the LingYun feels like the X-Ray pad Aqua Control Plus ROB. Out of these pads, I find the LingYun to be the best one for me. But would I actually recommend any of these pads for you? For the LongTeng SE and the LingYun, If you don't care about the artwork, not really. I think there are better options for both of these pads. But the Neon pad is actually something that I could recommend for somebody who's looking for a control pad. It feels like an in-between pad of the GSR and the GSR SE. And it's a definite upgrade over those two pads because it's way more consistent. And consistency is something that I find very important in a mousepad. So in the end, the Neon pad is something that I can recommend for you to try out. And of course, the LingYun and the LongTeng SE are top tier options if you want a mousepad with artwork. That's pretty much it from me. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. If you enjoy my content, hit that subscribe button, and see you in the next one.